Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 comedy film Kind of Pregnant. The film is directed by Tyler Spindell and is co-written by Amy Schumer, and it stars Amy Schumer as well as Will Forte, Gillian Bell, Brianne Howe, Lizzie Broadway, and Ursula Carlson. Right, okay. Amy Schumer's character, Lainey, is a 30-something or early 40-something woman. She's always wanted to get pregnant her whole life. She's in a relationship with someone she thinks is going to propose. It turns out he's not. So she's now single. Her best friend has now got pregnant. She feels completely left out of everything. So she decides to one day put on like a fake pregnancy belly, go to like a pregnant women's yoga class. She makes a friend there, and then she continues with the lie because she loves the attention she's getting from being pregnant. This obviously leads to many, many issues throughout the film, and it, leads to lots of shit. What are my thoughts on Kind of Pregnant? Well, I'm sorry, guys, but I think this film is kind of terrible. Oh, right. Okay, now, first thing I'm going to say is I probably wouldn't have chosen to watch this film. The only reason I did watch it is, I was just looking through Netflix a few nights ago, and we saw this was on, and we could just kind of, me and my wife would put it on. Thought we'll give it a go. Yeah, it's not good, this film. Now, I don't particularly have a problem with Amy Schumer. I wouldn't call her ultra talented or hilariously funny or anything. I think the only film I've seen of hers that I quite enjoyed was that Snatched she did with Goldie Hawn, and even that got fairly poor reviews, I seem to remember. I haven't seen a great deal of her work, so I can't really overly criticise her, but I just didn't like her in this film. I didn't like her character. I didn't like what she did. I didn't think she was funny. I didn't think the film was funny. The funniest person in this film is Ursula Carlson, who's called Fallon. She's like a friend of Amy Schumer's because she's a teacher, Amy Schumer, so she's like works at the school. She's like the South African, some kind of counsellor or something, I think. And she was the only one who was even a little bit funny in the film. Everybody else I just thought was, well, bang average at best, really. I just could not get into this premise that some woman would put a fake belly on and pretend to be pregnant and then continue the facade. Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't suspend disbelief. I think if the film would have been really slapstick and over the top daft, I would have maybe bought into it a little bit, but it wasn't. It was, they were trying to be real people, but put them in funny situations. I just couldn't get it because I couldn't buy into it because I just don't think many of the performers here were capable of delivering that kind of grounded performance when it needed it. That's what I'm trying to say anyway. The so-called romance that blossoms between Amy Schumer's character and Will Forte's character, I didn't buy it. I didn't feel the chemistry between them. It just didn't work for me. There's just so much of this film that I just thought was lacking, I suppose is the best way to put it. I thought the writing was pretty terrible. I I thought the performances were less than stellar. Um, you know, it's it, it's trying to kind of put you in these ridiculous scenarios for you to kind of have a laugh and a giggle at, and then present a serious scenario in the next scene almost. And I just I just couldn't buy it, if you like. And it was just littered with characters that I just didn't feel connected to in any way, shape, or form, really. I just don't like this film. I didn't like what it was trying to do. I didn't like the premise of it. And it's almost like it's a one gag film. It's a sketch. Is this film? It's a 10-minute sketch on Saturday Night Live or something like that in America, or or a sketch show over here in the UK. It's an episode of a sitcom. It's a fun idea that's stretched over like an hour and a half of a film, or however long this film is. I didn't want to go on this bloody journey with her. And there's so many times in this film where you just kind of like, stop doing what you're doing. Take the belly off, come clean, or just don't see that person again. I don't know. And he's trying to give you this the usual sugar-coated message by the end. Now, normally I can tolerate that with a lot of comedies, American comedies, when they all follow that same generic format. I can take it if the comedy's funny. I can forgive a lot of things, but this one just wasn't funny to me. So I didn't really care about the outcome of this character or anything like that. It just didn't really do it for me, unfortunately. So I'm trying to think of anything that was funny in this film. And like I say, that South African character in the film, or the woman in the film, she was fairly funny. And I think probably the funniest scene in the film is right at the beginning, when she goes to meet her boyfriend at a restaurant because she thinks he's going to propose. And the only thing he proposes is a threesome. And she goes a bit mental in the restaurant. And that's probably as good as it gets, this film. Beyond that, I can't honestly think of anything that kind of had me giggling or laughing or even, immersed or invested at all. I think this one's just a dud, guys. You know what I mean? And I'm fairly forgiving generally with comedies, but like I say, I always say this when I review comedies. Comedy is subjective. What I think is funny, you might disagree, and vice versa. So you might watch this and absolutely be in fits of laughter. I'd be very surprised, but you may well. But let me know in the comments, guys. Did you enjoy this? Did you think it was funny? Personally, I didn't, but that's just me. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.